Hey everyone, Hi, thanks for coming. So, welcome to a Mamak session with a couple of foreign international film friends of ours. I'm very happy to be the moderator for this session. My name is Edmund Yeo. I sometimes make films. Usually I just stay at home. So without further ado, it's not about me. I'm just going to introduce our guests. First, I would like to introduce Jennifer Yu from Hong Kong. Hey. Then, wow. So does everyone get a song or what? Okay. Then I would like to invite Reza Rahadian from Indonesia. Hey. It's like, now I feel very pumped. Yeah. Whoa. And last but not least, Rima Das from India. Yeah. So I think we are just gonna, it's so formal now. I think we should just sit down and I'm just so tired. You know? It's like so in Malaysia, we have this everyday tradition. We call it a mamak, hanging out at a mamak store, where mamak stores are Indian restaurants that open for 24 hours. Yeah. When we say yam cha, we actually at night after dinner or supper we'll go there, to watch football or just to talk and lament about life, talk about cinema and philosophy. And yeah, so I just want to make this more like a mamak session. It's not going to be that formal. I want us all to have fun. So yeah, welcome to Malaysia. Very honored to have you guys here. So I think I'm going to give a more dramatic introduction one by one. So Jennifer Yu, she's from Hong Kong. She's a Hong Kong actress. If you think about Hong Kong cinema, they've been around they have a very long, great tradition. Like you think about Hong Kong cinema, you think about in the 80s, there'll be like Joey Wong, there'll be like Cherry Chung, then Maggie Cheung. But so until now, like I would say that there are like a new generation of Hong Kong actresses who are artistically great. They take supremely good decisions, like with their film. It's always very exciting to see them on screen. So Jennifer is definitely part of this generation, along with actresses like Natalie Shu or our own Fish Liu. She works in Hong Kong, but she's Malaysian. Yeah, so I've seen Jennifer in a couple of films, but I would like to highlight a film called In Broad Daylight by Atiha from Lawrence Kahn. The film had a screening in... yeah. Oh, hi.
Thank you.
Cool. So it's like, so you had a screening in Malaysia 2 years ago. It's a story about a journalist who went undercover in a nursing home so that she could expose the mistreatment and scandals that's happening among the nursing home staff. Like they have been mistreating the old people. So Jennifer played the journalist. And when I saw the film, I was very... I got more and more into it, like because her role was so multi-layered. Like at first, you thought that she's like the granddaughter of one of the patients, but then gradually you realize that she's a journalist and she's there to expose them. So it was a very towards the end, like it was a very emotional journey, and I felt like it was an instantly iconic performance. It's utterly memorable, and I think the film itself is like one of the great Hong Kong films of the past decade. And it wouldn't have happened without Jennifer's luminous performance. And she won the Best Actress at the Hong Kong Film Awards deservingly. So that's Jennifer. So Reza, like a superstar. You guys have seen him. He's a very familiar face to us. He's a neighbor from Indonesia. He's everyone's stupid boss. But He's also Habibi. He's like a super versatile actor. Like sometimes I've seen many of his films, and each film makes me feel surprised. Like, oh my God, that's actually Reza. Like, Reza lagi. Exactly. So I remember like 2 years ago, same thing. I met Reza in Busan Film Festival just before the world premiere of 24 Hour with Gaspar. And I'm like, whoa, Reza. Then we had a conversation, and somehow we were talking about vengeance is mine, others pay cash. And I realized that Reza played the bad guy, Budi. And I'm like, oh no. He's like, that was you? It's like, oh wow, like it's mind-blowing to see how Reza disappears in each role. As you can see, like Habibi, Stupid Boss, like Budi, and then like so the heroic, the hero in heroic Gaspar. So and now Reza has ventured into directing. Welcome to the club. I hope you'll stay there. So I'm very excited to looking forward to Reza's directorial effort, just like how I look forward to his acting works. So that's Reza. So when it comes to Rima, I have to tell you a very, I think it's a funny story for everyone else, but it's not that funny to me. Up until midnight, I thought this session was supposed to be on the 27th. I got an invitation early this month asking me to be the moderator, told me that the session is on the 27th. I said, no problem, it's like, I'm gonna prepare, I'm gonna do a lot of homework. I have to go to China. I'm also doing post-production for my own film. I said, no problem, 27th, I will mark that, it's on my calendar, so I've been watching your films and all this stuff. And then midnight, as in 12 hours ago, I was posting on Instagram like, hey guys, we have this very cool forum on the 27th. Please come, I'm moderating it. And then someone replied and said, wait, it's not 27th. It's today, 26th. And I'm like, what? Is that like, wait, what? I look at the date again, I look at the Instagram, I'm like, oh no, it's like it's 26, and it's less than 12 hours from now. So I was, I wouldn't say that I was panicking, because I'm not really a panicky person. like if you have worked with me before on my set, I'm very zen. I'll cry in the toilet usually, but no one will see it. But usually I'm very zen, I'm like, how could this happen? So the good thing was that when this was happening, I was just watching Village Rockstar 1 to do my homework. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so stressed out. It's already midnight, it's 1 a.m. I think maybe I need to watch Village Rockstar immediately, part 2 immediately, since I have no more time left. So I watched Village Rockstar 2. And I think watching 1 and 2 together is a beautiful experience. Rima had she's a one-man crew in the films. Like she shoots, directs, edited, wrote it, and then costume. So it's amazing. And what I felt was that some of the images were so beautiful and poetic that as I watch it, I mean, it's a vibe. In the end, the films are a vibe, and I felt in peace. And I'm like, it's so fine. At least I still have 10 hours left to prepare for the session. And I'm happy because Village Rockstars, man, it's like 1 and 2. I think you guys have to check it out on the big screen.
Thank you so
So, yep. So that's my introduction. Now I'm going to talk about myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to talk about myself. So I'm going to... Oh, I was wondering where's this sound from? Because I have an iPhone and I'm like, well, they don't make sounds like that, but I realized that it's a staff member's phone, which I accidentally pocketed. So I prepared a... can I have your phone? So I'm going to start asking some questions. There's a long list of questions here, but we are going to have fun. Everyone can join in the conversation. Once I'm done asking, I won't be asking that many questions. Don't worry. But I'm going to start with. I'm just going to ask one by one. Okay, I'm just gonna improvise. No. Okay. So I'm gonna start with Rima. Okay. It's easier to ask another fellow director questions like so.
It's a punishment because you had to watch my films.
Yeah. I watched your film until 3, but yours was not the last film I saw. It was Jennifer's film that I saw at 3 a.m. until 5 a.m. Distinction, which is an amazing film. So I slept at 5 a.m. I woke up at 9. I'm like,
thank you. You're so professional.
oh, thank you. Yes, I try. You know, because sometimes I've been to some Q&A, to some sessions like this, and when I look at the moderator, I mean, I don't want to be so mean, but my first question is, did the moderator actually do their homework, or did they actually watch the films? You know, I have gone through that before, like in my own films, like Q&A. I'm like, the moderator was asking me like, oh, so what is your film about? I'm like, did you not watch the film? He's like, oh no, I was outside. I'm like, you know, so so I don't want to be like that. So thank you. I try to do my best. Yeah. So no, it's not a punishment. I'm just curious about your process. Like you are a one-man crew. I think that's a full auteur. You are a full auteur. Like the film has. Is this by choice or is this by necessity? Like yeah.
Thank you everyone for having us. And, in the beginning, it was necessity because I came to Mumbai to become an actor. So then I started watching world cinema and I fall in love. And I didn't know how to approach a producer. So I bought a camera and I just started making movies. So in the beginning it was a necessity, but later on also it's a choice. Now I'm in that position that I sometimes it depending on the ideas and subject, like stories, I choose, okay, this is the film probably I would love to make, you know, more independently. I need solitude. So then I go like my old way process. And when I realize now I am making a movie, the film's name is Not a Hero, and that is I'm working with a small crew. That is also from my home production, but when I collaborate with some other producers, then it is different. So I'm enjoying, you know, different process. But to say when I fall in love with cinema, if he is also now, you know, come, yeah, you want to direct. You already started? I started. Okay, that's great. Congratulations. So what I have realized that when it is, I feel very fortunate to be in this, that I can create something that is very beautiful. And when you are making cinema, or you are, I mean, writing a song, or you are painting or anything, I feel like as an artist, you should have freedom. And that is how our probably ancestors, that time it was not a business. It was more like, you know, fulfilling your soul. I mean, how to satisfy it, enjoying that process. Or maybe in that process you also suffer. But you have that freedom. But now it is also sad to see how, you know, oh, it's an industry, lot of pressure. So I feel fortunate that although now people know me, I can probably have fun to make movies. But I like that process because that is the one where I feel, you know, myself, you know, I can be with my characters, I can be with nature. And it is so soul satisfying, and it is not just making a film. It is also how I am growing as a person. So yeah, thank you.
Because we had a conversation just now, and you told me that it took you 3 years to shoot Village Rockstar 1 and 3.5 years to shoot Village Rockstar 2. I think that's amazing. And the fact that, if you have seen the film, it's the title sounds like a Hollywood type film, but it's not. It's a very poetic, a very incisive look in rural life and contemporary women in the society and such. Some of the images I've seen, they still stay with me. Yes, I saw it just like 10 hours ago, but they stay with me. The storm, the flood, children climbing up trees, children hanging out. Those were the life that I don't really have, but somehow I feel nostalgic about. It's like a half-remembered memory that don't belong to me, but somehow it became mine from watching your films. So I'm just curious to know, when you start shooting the films, do you know it's going to be like a 3.5 year or 3 year process? Yeah.
No, I don't know, but sometimes I feel, because this one took more time because I started during COVID. So I didn't realize, and I simultaneously started making this one and one other film, Tora's Husband. So then slowly when I started editing, then realized that there are a lot of things I need to fix, because I didn't know I was affected so much. And also 2020 when I started, July probably I started shooting, and October I lost my father. So it was a time I had to take a decision now what to do. I was grieving, but I realized that if I wouldn't, if I stop there, then might not happen. So I just a month later I started shooting again. So it took a toll in my mental and physical health. So that it was also a reason that it took time. But now this Not a Hero I started shooting last November, and I'm going to finish. I thought within 3 months I'd finish, but somehow again it took almost 9 months. So it depends. It like if it's a studio film, then I know that, okay, this is, you are getting just 20 days or 30 days to shoot. So you have to, it's like a game, I feel, just like a game. You just need to perform and deliver. But when I have this liberty, I'm doing it from my production, it is more like a ride, like a lot of challenge also. But I just keep doing it till the time I don't feel like, oh, it's enough now. So I just take it that way.
So was that the reason why you incorporated the mother's storyline in Village Rockstar 2? After what happened, after the loss of your death, was that of your dad? Was it a decision later?
No, it was shot earlier.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was like August probably. That scene was done, and then October. Yeah, it is quite a surreal feeling, and without knowing much about losing yours, because you keep losing people in your family, but when it's parents, it's very different. And I don't even know why I decided to do that scene so early, 2020, because I finished the film probably 24, probably yes, 24 mid, but I shot that scene so early. So it's the mystery of life.
I think that's the beauty of filmmaking. Like sometimes it's so unpredictable, and you don't know what's next. But I think perhaps that's why we are doing it. Like it's an adventure. It's like watching Reza's roles. Like I said, I only watched Habibi and Ainun a few days ago. And at first I wasn't sure. I mean, due to my personal cynicism when it comes to biopics of political figures. But while watching Habibi and Ainun, I guess gradually I was swept up by the universality of it. Like, it's not really about a great figure, but it's actually a timeless love story. I mean, I think you shot the film when you were in your late 20s, and yet you portrayed President Habibie up until his old age. And I thought more and more, I felt that it was an acting masterclass. Like, wow, like I can't believe Reza at that age had the maturity and poise to depict President Habibie at that age. You know, like I think it's amazing. And I think that's also one of the reasons why that film is such a big hit in Indonesia. It's not really about Habibie. It's actually a story about many things. It's about Indonesia. It's a love story. It's about family. But you have done many different genres, like comedies, hardcore action films. You know, everything like. Are your preparations different for each of them? Like, do you have a process?
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Every preparation in each character are different, completely different. Sometimes I also like when there's no preparation for a role. I like the spontaneous things that happens, something that raw, something that unprepared. Sometimes that's the magic of filmmaking. But of course, there are certain roles that I need to prepare because there's a certain accent that I need to learn. There's a certain behavior. There's certain language probably. So the process, it's quite unique for me. I don't know if this is a good thing to share. I don't know if there's also aspiring actors in the studio right now, but don't quote me on this. Sometimes I read the script one time and I decided to read it again twice, and that's it. I don't want to read it anymore until I come to set. Because sometimes for me, the more I read the script, the more I found out what to do, the more I understand, they're going to be this directions and I have to do this and that. I feel it becomes too technical. It becomes because it is too technical, then it becomes unrealistic anymore for me. It's no longer realistic. There's no longer space for me to just dive into set, because sometimes you read the script, you come on set, it's completely different. There's a lot of things that on set that I love to respond, because there's always a reason why an artistic director put maybe a bottle of water here, maybe a glass there, maybe a books or whatever. Sometimes I'm being very naughty on set that this doesn't make any sense. My character wouldn't have that kind of things. And I want to touch that things. I want to play with all the things because that makes a scene alive. Sometimes it's not reflected on the characteristic that I'm playing. That is the process sometimes that I'm having. So I like to respond what's on set rather than read through the script over and over. And again, this is not something good, maybe. But that's just a process. I believe every actor has their own process of creativity to dive into characters. I think that's pretty much about it.
I do subscribe to the belief that I mean, it's just me. So if there are other aspiring filmmakers, don't listen to me. But I also believe that a script is more like a guideline. Like, it shouldn't be treated like a Bible. And I feel that it's more like trying to find the right direction to the truth. How can we elevate and, like you said, like respond to what's on set? Because
I think one director that sticks with me is Garin Nugroho.
Yep.
I've worked with Mas Garin, and suddenly I asked for a script. I said, I was going, where's the script? And he said, why do you need the script? And I'm like, because I'm acting in your film. You want me to act in your film? Yeah, but why are you asking the script? Because I need to read it. I need to understand the character, what you're talking about. And he said, I'll give you a story. We'll meet. And then he shared the story about the film. So this story is about this, the character is this and that. And then he said, but I haven't wrote the dialogue. I just wrote a treatment of the script. If you want to read it, go read it. If you don't want to read it, it's fine. See you on set. Are you joking? I'm not joking. He said that. And then I come on set. Sometimes magical things happen in that way. And that's the way Garin Nugroho works sometimes. Not every time, but sometimes. And I love that kind of process as well. I'm not saying that a very well-prepared kind of process is not serving anything. Of course, that's also has a good side. But I'm not saying that sometimes that kind of style also works, at least in my personal opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to visit Garin's set, like to see how it's done. You know, yeah. So I'm gonna ask Jennifer, like, so last night, 3 a.m. I'm like, should I sleep now or should I complete my homework and watch this film called Distinction, by Jaewon Now. So it's a 2018 film. It's one of the first films where Jennifer had a very major lead role technically. It's a story about a teacher and a special education needs school trying to put together a musical. So they have some students from other schools volunteering to help out with the musical. So Jennifer's character Zoe, she's from an elite school. You know, she's preparing to go to a elite university. But for credit, for university credit, and to look good, for KPI, she decided to volunteer and work in to help out with this musical, working with these special needs students and such. I think it's very touching and illuminating to see how the education system is like in Hong Kong, and especially Zoe is a particularly tragic character in the end, because I felt that she's an elite student and her parents have all these expectations of her, to go to to some overseas or to become, but it's very traditional. We can all relate to that because we have similar backgrounds. But Zoe herself is a creative soul. She's an artist. She wanted to cook. She loved to paint. Yet in a society where society tells her that doing these things have no future, there's no respect to just be a chef. Even though her most beloved grandfather is a chef, even though she loved to paint, but why do it? It's not. You're not going to be rich. You're not going to be respected. So I think it's sad to see someone who's so creative being forced to stay in her path. So at that time, Jennifer played a high school student, and I felt like time traveling, back to see a young Jennifer. But already you can see these glimpses of greatness and sensitivity that she put on the character. So I started realizing that there's also a pattern to the type of films that Jennifer's been doing. Perhaps it's a reflection of what Hong Kong films are like now. Hong Kong films, more and more, they're about social issues, and it's also about forgotten tradition. So what I in Broad Daylight, in Distinction, Jennifer had done films like that. They do touch social issues and the problems of Hong Kong right now. So it's kind of the same question too. How do you prepare? Why are you really attracted to films of these subject matters like society issues? And yeah, I'm just curious. I'm always in love with the actors' creative process. It fascinates me. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Yu, an actress from Hong Kong, and it's so happy to see you guys here. Allow me to speak in Cantonese because I want to deliver my message in a better way. Thank you. 我自己每一次準備角色嘅時候，其實因為有時個角色離自己本身嗰個生活有啲遠，例如做學生嘅時候，其實我已經25歲，咁所以我都會選擇去真係去感受一下佢嘅生活。例如我翻去我嘅中學嗰度上堂，係咁去感受翻學生嘅生活，攞翻嗰個感受。咁做記者都係啦，平時好少接觸一啲新聞記者，除咗娛樂新聞，咁所以自己都有真係去到報館，去真係同一啲現實新聞記者去做一啲 research， 或者直接自己一個人去一啲唔同嘅院舍做一啲實地考察，當自己係一個記者去調查，攞呢個感覺咯。
So Jennifer mentioned that a lot of her characters are very different from her real life. Like, for example, when she was in Distinction, although she plays a secondary school student, she was already 25 at that time. So while trying to live that life, she will dive into it. For example, she went back to her secondary school to be in class, to delve into the character more, just to get a feel of it. Even as a reporter, the reporters that she deals with usually are mostly entertainment reporters, but the character that she played in Broad Daylight is actually more into social welfare. So she did researches at media outlets and even interned just to get into the life of researching and just to understand more of what it feels to be a reporter herself.
但係都係我諗係主要係攞翻嗰個角色嘅感覺。我都好同意頭先Reza 講嘅嘢，其實喺現場嗰個實際嘅氣氛、個 setting 同其他演員嘅 interaction 當下先係最重要。咁所以自己都係會先做一啲功課，但係去到現場可能就會嘗試去抌咗啲功課去。
Jennifer agrees with Reza that research is important. It's important to do your homework, but what's more important is actually to get on set, get a feel of it, and interaction and chemistry with the cast is more important.
So by the time I was done watching A Distinction at 5 a.m., I didn't feel grumpy. I didn't feel tired. In fact, I felt hope because it's such a beautiful film. And even though what happened to Zoe, I felt that, to me, I felt that in the end she will find her path, and the path has to do with creativity. So I think it's one of those films where I hope more people will watch in the future because it's essential watching. So yeah, I'm going to ask less questions and I'm going to open it to the floor. Right, so anyone with a question? Okay. You, Sean.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm from Singapore. In Singapore, I do film festivals, hospitality. I'm more closer to Jennifer because I'm going to speak in Cantonese, then translate. 因為咧，你合作啲呢啲導演咧，柯文傑、阿簡同埋黃浩然係佢哋係嚟新加坡參加演展嗰時候咧，冇招呼嘅。同埋嗰個黃浩然我都比較熟。你講咩啫？同埋Patrick Tam 嗰個七人樂隊所以咧我同佢哋講你係我個女神，所以我今次同女神見面係真係都好高興。我想問個咧就係你同即四個導演，你點樣可以配合佢個世界觀，電影嗰邊個世界觀個 vision 變成一個你俾啲觀眾可以接受到，你就係咩啫？你就係一個追求真相嘅嗰個女記者，你係一個 為咗呢個愛個一個純情嘅呢一個中學生，有隻機係插入落隊嗰個一個 film 裏面，係啦。
Okay, so Sean mentioned a couple of directors that have worked with Jennifer. They are of different genres. So he wants to know how Jennifer adapts to each style of each director and also to get into the character that she has, because Jennifer is his goddess. So in order to achieve the goddess level, you know, it really depends on how each director shapes her in the films that she is. So he's asking, you know, how she does that. So I hope that translates. To the goddess.
Yeah. Sitting next to the goddess.
The goddess.
首先好多謝你咁欣賞香港電影。都想講係香港電影依家嗰個面對嘅嘢唔同我哋以前最黃金時期。以前黃金時期可能有好多電影 production， 有好多 budget， 可以做好多大製作。但係依家我哋可能比較追求嘅係喺一個好 limited budget 入邊做一啲關於我哋本身社會發生嘅事。咁香港觀眾其實嗰個渴望都唔同咗，即係好多時候都會想睇一啲關於本地嘅嘢。咁所以亦都慶幸啦，因為咁樣自己有好多唔同嘅嘗試。其實我合作嘅90%都係新導演，係啊。咁所以除咗譚家明啦，譚家明導演係大導演。咁所以其實每一次同新導演合作好輕鬆，好似朋友咁，大家乜嘢都傾好多好多，所以好了解對方想要啲乜嘢先去做咯。
Hong Kong films are very different right now compared to what they deem as the prime time of Hong Kong films back then. 90年代啦，算唔算？ Like back in the 90s, because 80s and 90s prime time of Hong Kong films, because they had way more budget back then, and the society is very different right now in Hong Kong, and what Hong Kongers, locals chase for right now is what they expect to be in films is actually related to more social issues, because it's more relatable, something that they can adhere with with a very, very limited budget. So with a localized context, Jennifer feels that she's also very lucky because she gets to try many new aspects, many new characters, and working alongside mostly new directors. And when she's working with new directors, it's also easier because they get to communicate like they are friends instead of being directed. So there's a lot more room, a lot more freedom for communication.
同埋另一樣嘢就係，我諗我冇一個好大嘅 ego， 我自己演戲方面，每一次我都好信任整個團隊，好願意去將我自己去變唔同嘅形狀、唔同嘅人，初圓咁變，好似一個 play 度咁，係咁，所以呢個都係我覺得做演員需要嘅嘢嚟嘅，因為有時自己個諗法太大，大過於創作者嘅諗法就會改變咗佢原有嘅原意咯。
She thinks that it's very important to trust the team, and so she thinks that she's not egoistic, which is very important, and she's also very fluid. She shifts and she changes according to what an actor needs and what her character needs or what is required of the team. And when what an actor wants, what her perception is bigger, is larger than what the team needs, she thinks that that will cause a lot of imbalanceness, and that is not what's positive in the current aspect.
The lady over there.
Hello, hi, I'm Emma. Thank you for a great sharing sessions from all the panels. My questions is to Rima Das, which is when now that you are creating your own, it takes you 3 to 4 years. So my question is, what's make you keep going? Because it's a long time. You might sometimes want to give up. You might sometimes feel like this is too long and you don't want to continue. And have you ever hit your lowest point, and how you encounter the challenge when you hit the lowest, and to keep continuing and produce in your creative process? Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. It's a very important question because first thing is always overcoming your fear, having that confidence in your story and your vision, because otherwise, you might sometimes lose it when you are doing in the long term. And the most important thing is love, deep love, I think. What keeps me going is my love for, cinema. That is what I think important in the long run. And also, like there is a, saying in coming from Greek philosophy that you cannot step in the same river twice. So your capacity, you have to be flexible to change. Although you have a story, or if you are doing something, you need to be somehow flexible, open to change, if something new things coming or new ideas, or you also, if your friends also saying something, what is happening around, what is the relevance. So this kind of, you need to be practical, you need to be aware, not stubborn with your ideas. What happens with me when I'm doing something in that, kind of long period of time, if 3.5 years. So if I give an example, like Village Rockstars. So my idea, when I started shooting, that time it was different. Then it started evolving. And I was not panicked. Sometimes, yes, of course, I'm a human, like it happens. But then I give some time to myself. I talk to myself, and also without panicking, I try to how, bring these new elements and accept it. And when you were talking about magic, right? Magic happens actually. That is, when I am working, I'm always looking forward to that something magic to happen. Because for me, otherwise it's boring, I know this is the story, these are my characters. I think sometimes you feel limited, but I always wait for that natural process, and it brings, magic. And for that magic, or for that love, I think I keep going. And also, I'm really thankful because I come from a small village. How I started, from nothing I started. And the kind of love, people are giving worldwide, I think that is also the motivation. Thank you so much.
Lady over there. Hey. Over here.
Hi, I'm Idri Abdullah. I'm an actress and also a TV host, scriptwriter. Okay, my question is for Reza. I see that you are such a chameleon on each of your characters. So how do you color your character without looking stereotyped, like, let's say, a villain? Like, oh, I've seen that kind of villain, but you never do that. So how do you make your character come alive and make it one of a kind? That's one question. Another one, I don't know if you have gone through this before. Sometimes when you don't choose your cast that you work with, and sometimes when you work with a cast that probably doesn't give you the kind of energy that you need, and especially when you don't have dialogue in that character, and you need it to respond to your cast, but yet you don't get that kind of vibe that you needed for your character, what do you do? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, I'll answer the first question. You're asking me how, right? I always like to think the opposite of each and every character. And that means if the script and the direction would be this, I always think the opposite of that. If showing your confusion, you tick a lot or you're scratching your forehead, mostly will do that. What if I'm trying to show it in a very different way? So it takes a lot of experimental things, and I let myself drawn to that. I don't put a very high wall that this is the way for you to show type of emotions. So I like to think the opposite of that, or to fight with my own arguments on this is how I'm going to portray that character. So for example, if I'm playing a villain will always describe scary and dominating and all that stuff, and rough. Sometimes, like I did in Vengeance, Edwin's film, I said to my director, I'm portraying a guy who in love with this girl and also sexually interest is very high. I always wanted to try to appear from, how do you say Jongkok in English? I don't know what's the words. Like, do you know Jongkok? Jongkok is Bahasa Indonesia. It's like, you're not sitting, but you're like that. Squatting, thank you. And then the director asking me, why? Yeah, I want to appear in every scene, starting with that kind of mannerism, position. And then when I saw the girl, I would always stand up. And then he asked me, why? It's like you're thinking about your thing. And when you interest in sexually, you're hard. And he was like, where does that come from? I don't know. It's just my imagination. I mean, if you agree, I'll do that. If you don't agree, no, I love that, he said. So it's not about thinking about how am I going to appear as a villain, how masculine or how raging. And I mean, that can work, but I just love to try something else. I think that's how I approach some of the characters or the process behind it. And if I don't get an energy from my co-star or fellow actors that I work on set, first, I don't want to step too far because that's not my job to correct or to give advice to my fellow actors. I think that's a red things that I want to cross. And I don't even want to talk to my director, hey, he's not doing this or she's not doing this. I need this from her. I just accepted it. I accept it. And then sometimes it's very useful that you can always respond to whatever happens on set, on a scene that I'm doing. So I don't really like, if I don't get what I need from the character, I'll try something else. Like, what if I say this line that she's not expecting me to say this, and that will makes her think twice. Oh shit, why should I respond? And the response comes out, and the energy I got it, that I needed. So it's about, as an actor, you manipulate yourself sometimes. You manipulate it, your minds and the set itself. So you can always play with it. I mean,
it is very intelligent, I think.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's always, I mean, it's not, because I always treat set as a playground. It's never been a work for me. I'm not saying that I'm not serious at it, but it's a playground. I'm playing, I'm acting. It's not like working. I've done my research, I've done my homework. Yes, fine. But when I come on set, I don't think anymore about those kind of stuff. I just want to play. This is a playground, and I'm lucky. I don't want to take it for granted. So I just let yourself jump, be on set, and respond whatever happens. Yeah, I like that. I mean,
it's also probably, as a director, more than experimenting. For me, the right word is surrendering. You know,
yeah, I like
you
that
just
word.
surrender to
To whatever
everything,
happens.
whatever happening.
And sometimes, because I also believe that directors give you directions, and then sometimes they also expect something else coming from you as an actor, because you don't just get paid to just come on set, read the lines, and then do whatever I said. Sometimes they need something else from you as an actor. That is the surprise that sometimes I love to explore. What else can I give to the directors, especially when this production is a really good story, it's a good character. I don't just want to give him what's already on the script. I mean, that's fine, but directors needs something else from an actor. That's why you're an actor, because you have a craftsmanship. That's one of your responsibility. You're not just a puppet. Come on set, read the lines, and done. This sort of things that has to happen sometimes. I like that kind of process. I hope I answer your question.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I have a question for Jennifer. Allow me to speak in Cantonese. Yeah, so it's easier to understand. 近年咧，咁我都好有呢一個好運啦，咁可以成為一位特約。咁但係作為一個唔係科班出身啦，咁冇受過專業訓練嘅演員咧，咁日常嘅生活當中，我哋應該點樣去準備自己啦，放下一次嘅呢個演出機會咧？咁 by the way，今年嘅3月份啦，咁我都有幸參與過 Edmund 嘅電影作品，係啦，咁就想聽下，即係作為專業嘅演員有啲咩 advice 嘅 ？Thank you.
She participated in Edmund's film recently.
Yeah, I was pretending not to recognize her, but yeah,
she's not
great. Yeah,
professional per se, you know. So she's trying to ask Jennifer like how to prepare, you know, and how to get into a role if they are not from a professional background or trained.
係我多謝你嘅問題，亦都恭喜你可以成為一位演員。演員係好好嘅職業，好好玩。我自己都唔係科班出身，我冇讀過演戲嘅，咁所以我就永遠每一次去有機會去演嘅時候，我都當自己係一張白紙，再去跟身邊嘅團隊、身邊嘅人、對手啊、演員啊，去學，不停問好多問題。我第一次演戲嘅時候，我就係去問究竟我要點樣準備一個角色，咁身邊就自然會有一啲好深嘅人，可能佢好有經驗，佢會俾好多唔同嘅意見你。咁當然唔係每一個都係你適合用嘅，但係當你仲係摸索階段嘅時候，你唔使驚，就乜嘢都去試咗先。
Yeah, so Jennifer has not studied acting herself before as well, but when there is a chance, she starts everything from scratch. So with every project that she starts with, she's a blank sheet of paper. She learns from everyone around her, especially the cast and the crew. And even when it was her first time acting on set, she will ask around like how she can prepare for her character and her role better. And very nice people around her will give a lot of advice, but although not everything is applicable, the good thing about starting afresh is that you will be able to play around with advice that is given and everything that you hear around you to apply to the character that you are playing.
跟住就一路都好多唔同嘅演戲經驗啦。咁自己一路都 keep 住去，會想做得更加好，但係亦都唔知有啲問題棘咗喺邊。咁我就好願意去聽人哋唔同嘅意見，直到有一次就係緣路山旮旯， 播映嘅時候，有好多人都同我講話，誒，今次你做得好唔同，好好睇，好鬆容，好自在，睇得出你好 enjoy。咁，咦，原來嗰陣時我已經演戲演咗6年、7年、6年，係7年啦，差唔多。我冇諗過 enjoy 呢個字，係啊，但係原來呢個字好緊要，亦都係多謝身邊嘅人去同我講，係咁我就先發覺原來演戲其中一樣最重要嘅嘢就係你要識得去享受個過程。如果唔係，你就會好緊張，所有嘢都好緊張。你嘅演出出到嚟嘅嘢，可能你做好晒劇本上面寫嘅所有嘢，但係你都冇嗰份自在自如喺入邊。觀眾其實都睇得到呢一份緊張，咁所以係好難嘅，特別對於一個新人嚟講。但係嘗試去享受每一件事。
She has been given many different chances to act in very different roles, but she has also encountered problems. But she never really knew what the issue was until she encountered her character in Far, Far Away. That was when she got feedback that her performance in Far, Far Away is very different compared to the ones that she has acted before, that she has played before. And that is also 6 to 7 years after she has started acting. Because the comments were mostly saying that, she looks as though she is enjoying her character, and therefore that's when she got like a slight enlightenment, like, oh, you have to enjoy the process in order to be able to play the character well. Because when you are nervous and when everything is pressure on set, even if you prepare yourself very well and you present according to what the script is required, if you don't enjoy it, nothing is freely transcribed. So to newcomers, even if it's difficult, try to enjoy the process.
Yeah, the guy on the back.
Okay, so this is a question for Jennifer Yu. So some of my friend is wondering, like, if you ever feel like working behind the scenes, such as a producer or director or as a cameraman, basically, anything behind the scene.
Thank you for your question. 其實我自己有不停問過自己，會唔會？呢一刻呢個階段嘅我未必會，因為我覺得我喺演員嘅路上，我仲未係最好，我仲有好多我想追求嘅嘢，我想做得更加好。又或者其實喺電影圈，雖然我已經10年啦，但係可能我覺得我個未夠成熟啊，有好多時候都。或者我仲係當自己係一個不停去吸收緊嘅人，所以如果要跳到去幕後，我覺得幕後其實係一件好難嘅事嚟嘅，特別係導演。咁所以呢一刻嘅我未必會，我想演好我個戲先，或者向所有幕後嘅工作人員好好學習先。但係唔排除10年後、20年後，我都會想有啲嘢想講、想表達。到我覺得有足夠嘅自己有足夠嘅知識嘅時候，都會想有機會可以試下。
Right, so Jennifer has asked herself this question: would she try going behind the scenes? But for now, she might not, because as an actress, she feels that she's not at her peak yet. There are many things that she's still chasing after. And even in the industry, even though she's been around for a decade acting, she feels that she's not matured enough yet to delve into other prospects. So she's still in her learning phase, but maybe 10 to 20 years later, maybe if she has a story to tell, and if she feels that she has learnt enough to play that position behind the scenes, then she will explore the chances.
So I'm gonna piggyback upon this question and ask Reza, like, so you have transitioned into directing. I don't know why. Why you want? Why? It's like but it's very exciting, like I said. So what had it always been something you wanted to do, or is it suddenly, or yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with quite numerous of directors and different kind of directors, different kind of films, until actually it was again I have to mention Mazgarin is the first person who actually trusted me. He produced, and I was in his workshop 2011 when he gathered some of Indonesian actors to do a workshop, but to direct. So at that time, I was falling in love with directing. But of course, as someone who's just started his career as an actor, I was making a short film at that time, but I have no projection or thinking that I would do feature film or any time further. And then things are shifting, and I'm opening up myself. Like I really like the way Rima put it beautifully. It's just I let things happen and I accepted it first. Of course, there's the fear and the worry and not trusting myself. Am I able to do this? And sometimes there are things that I've always kept in mind that, okay, you've known as an actor, at least in Indonesia, some people know you and your work. But when you direct, some of my friends would say, are you ready? If you're not making good films and you're making a bad one, then they will say, hey, you know what? Just keep acting. Don't direct. Are you ready for those kind of opinions and all that stuff? But I said to myself, hey, I've been acting for the past 20 years. I've done quite numbers of films. I need something to just challenge myself in a different way and have a room to make another mistakes and to learn and to grow, especially to grow. And I feel directing is something that I'm in love, and I've never dared enough to approach that. And now I'm doing it, and I finished the film already. Thank you. I hope it's going to be okay, and I hope not so many people would say, just keep acting, don't direct. But yeah, I mean, it's a filmmaking. You always just gotta try it. And I like when Jennifer said that you feel like maybe it's not your time. Maybe you'll find it in the next 10 years, and maybe some directors would love to act, maybe. I don't know. But, but for me, yeah, why not? You know, yeah.
Why is everyone looking at me? But I'm curious, like, when you're directing, like, do you think you would pick something from the process, like, oh, okay, what I learned from directing I could use on my acting, like, or or is it a separate thing, like?
No, it's separate things. It's a separate things that I really like to give a space for actors, maybe because of my background as an actor. So then I would love to give my actors who act in the film, and I think I'm lucky to have some of the actors that are very professional actors, like Christine Hakim and Fedi Nuril, and so I think it's quite easier for me. And I choose also an actor that never have any experience in acting before, because I like the raw, and I want to just give the space, and I just give a little direction that what are we trying to do here, but I like to see what's gonna happen and let it be, let it be. So yeah, I'm not trying to force my concept or my thoughts or my whatever I know about acting to try to force it to other actors. Hey, this is how you act. No, I don't. I mean, I don't like that. And some actors that I called for this film in the beginning was a bit. Some of them are refusing to act in my film actually, because they said it's Reza is going to direct me, and he's an actor. I'm not gonna do it. Otherwise, and I said, why? Yeah, because you're an actor. And I said, and why is that? Yeah, you will yell at me on set because I'm not doing it right. I said, no, that's not how it goes. But yeah, it was fun. It was a very humbling experience.
So we have spoken in detail like how the actors are prepared for their roles and experiences. So I'm curious, Rima, like what's your process like working with your actors? How do you direct them? Like how do you establish such a long-term creative relationship with them? So I'm just curious to know.
It's more like how he is saying, Reza. It is because I came to Mumbai to become an actor. And when I was in my school and college, that time I was best actress, but in Mumbai somewhere I lost because language was different, culture, it was also a bit because I come from a village from northeast part of India. So when I was flying from Mumbai to Malaysia, I was flying by this Malaysian Airlines, and there someone asked me, where are you from? I'm from Mumbai. But you look like Malaysian. So that is what happened in Mumbai. You know, like northeast part of India, we are 7 sisters. We have a brother also now, like states, Assam, Mizoram, Manipur. We are quite close actually, even culturally, and lot of things actually. We are look and all, we are, yes. So when I was in Mumbai, so it was, I became so conscious because they were asking, are you from China? Are you from Nepal? That time. And it scared me. And I suddenly felt like, asking like, am I belong, because I was young. Now it's different, the story is different. But that time I was not matured enough to understand. So I was scared. And I was conscious. And I used to give audition and always, I was so conscious. Then when I started directing, I always give space to my actors. I believe that that bonding with actors is very important, and like I am talking about like how I as a director need to allow my actors to surrender. Sometimes if director is controlling everything, then even actors, if they want to also, they are not going, to have that opportunity to surrender. So how to create that kind of atmosphere, I think is very important. And also when I'm writing a story, if about a school girl or a college girl or someone, doing a different kind of job, then I feel like I'm writing, I'm just observing, them, but I don't know them. To know them, it should be a sharing experience. It is not like, oh, it is my story and I'm the director, so things should happen this way. So it is, we are sharing something, we are creating something. If we are creating something beautiful, I think that is very important. So, and also I write dialogues. Because I also, wanted to be an actor. So I write dialogues. I speak myself. If I feel, because I remember when my audition time, like some dialogues are, you cannot relate with this dialogue. So I write and I even, deliver myself. I see how, if it is like, to sometimes you want to emote, you want to certain kind of emotion, but dialogue's not allowing you. So for me, like cinema is something, there is a difference between cinema and theater. Cinema is visually so powerful. So I always believe in like my visuals, because sometimes without dialogues also, in silence also, you can create so many beautiful things. So we have that kind of equation. Some actors, their face, their eyes, so powerful. They don't need lot of dialogues, So understanding, each actress, they are different. So as a director, my, job is to understand each actors individually. They are different, and also discovering, seeing their unique qualities, what they have, what kind of mannerism, and how he was saying. It was so beautiful that when, as a villain, just doing it, that also when I keep, because I learned cinema, watching cinema, So I also try things which is not probably I have seen. And as an actor also, I try, if they are doing some mannerism, I'm like, no, try different things. I don't want, I know that if you are angry, you are, doing this kind of things, but I don't want it, And you give time to them and it happens. It's all about also time and the space, and it started happening. If I'm stuck with something, then you give time. With time, then the moment will be there.
Whoa. What's going on? Is that part of the program? Oh.
This is how they do. This is how they do sound calibration.
Right.
調呢個音。
Oh, I see. I thought that was a very polite way to ask us to end this session.
That's nice, actually.
Now we can all ponder and contemplate like cinema,
So this is, I do if my actors are really in that comfort zone, sleepy, or they are so comfortable, then make some noise.
So now I'm a bit nervous. Do we have time for one more question or not? Oh wow! What? Okay. Is that an answer to my question? Okay, the lady at the back. Let's take one question. Last one. Before they put more explosion sounds and chase us out
This is the question for the Miss Rima Dash. In your opinion, what is the hardest part of making an independent film?
Fund, money.
Oh. Yeah. Mic drop.
Like this.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's. Unfortunately, I think we could have stayed here until midnight. Yeah, Mama sessions are like that. Like sometimes I hang out with my friends until like 5 a.m. because we have so much to talk about. Unfortunately, not.
I want to add to, I don't want to disappoint you. Yeah, it's fun. Money is important, but I didn't have money. And I'm talking to you now. I have made 5 feature films, and I almost produced all the films myself. But if you have passion, you can do it. because if you're shooting with your mobile also, iPhone, if you don't have an iPhone also, there are audience, there are people, and I mean, the world is beautiful. It's not like that, Don't be disappointed. If not money, and because I shot my first 3 films, Manada Binoculars, Village Roxas and Bulbul Can Sing with 5D Mark II. And Village Roxas was official entry, Oscar entry from India that time. And it changed, everything. It gave that fate to, a lot of young filmmakers because, with a small camera also, with one lens, and even we didn't proper, we used sound equipments, but if you believe in your stories and you have that vision, it can happen. So please, I know that it is fun is important, but believe in yourself and your stories, then it doesn't matter which camera or how you made your films. Thank you.
Okay, I feel that this is like a real mic drop moment. Many of our esteemed guests, they're sitting here because of their love for cinema, this passion for cinema. I think the beauty of film festivals is that we are here to celebrate cinema, and we are doing all this because we are passionate, and it's not really about the money. Yes, it's good to have money, but we are obsessed with it because it's our religion and it's our love of our life, and it makes us creatively fulfilled. For me, I'll always be interested to see your works, and I'm very happy to be here sitting with you all. In the future, I'm sure there'll be more works to come from each and every one of you. Viva la cinema. All right, thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.